I want to tell Representative Norton that I've appreciated working with her and trying to reach some agreement on this very difficult issue. And I must be honest with you that this is a very difficult issue. And so I wanted to be with the utmost respect that I rise in opposition of this bill. You know, my mother told me, and I'm not sure, my mother and dad and father told me that silence means agreement. Sometimes that we can sit by and we can sit on the sideline and we think that, oh, it's okay. And I don't really need to say anything. But sometimes it is important to stand up and say something. And I want to speak on behalf of all those folks who are in my district and other districts who are legitimately concerned about being stopped for the wrong reasons. Now, I know some people may think, for one example, if you say something of that nature, that means that you're not, or that you're anti-law enforcement, and in fact, that's not the truth. I'm actually pro-law enforcement, but I want to make sure that folks are doing the right thing. And there was a study. There was a study done in 2003 that really spoke to this question of whether people, especially people of color, are stopped at a much more alarming rate than others. But I won't bore you with that. You know those statistics. Let me also say this, because I haven't heard it stated today. Do you not realize that 87% of Minnesotans are in compliance with wearing their seatbelt? Let me say that again, because perhaps someone didn't hear me. The Commissioner of Public Safety and others came in and testified in the Transportation Committee, and they stated 87% of Minnesotans are in compliance with wearing their seatbelt. And so the question was asked by one of my learned colleagues who so eloquently asked the question. They said, well, hold it. If Minnesotans are 87% in compliance without the primary seatbelt law, how did they become in compliance with the seatbelt law? And the response was simply this: we did it through education. And you know what? If they did it through education or through educating members of our wonderful state, and therefore that allowed us to be 87% in compliance, then I believe that primary seatbelt is unnecessary and that education is the order of the day. Because no one really wrestles against education, you know, because education is just an accumulation of knowledge. And I believe that we can provide communities with knowledge who are not currently wearing their seatbelt so that they can, in fact, adhere to the law and save their own lives. Now, I tell you another interesting notion is that I was watching television, and maybe some of you have seen this commercial, but it says click it or ticket. Anybody else? I'm sure you've probably seen that commercial, click it or ticket. And so it made me ask the question, well, how can they run this commercial saying click it or ticket if primary seatbelt is not the law? And I want you to know that I believe that good law enforcement is important, and I believe that we have some great law enforcement out there. I believe that everyone has good intentions when we think in terms of primary seatbelt, but I also know representative corners of some not so favorable situations when people of color and other people have an interaction with the police or encounter with the police, and there's a lack of police trust or public trust. I want there to be public trust, but I don't want anyone to feel like I was stopped from it for any other reason other than that there was clearly a violation. I can just see it now. I heard other attorneys standing in this great gallery earlier today or on the House floor, but I can hear it now. I can hear someone saying, or a police officer saying, that you were not wearing your seatbelt, or I didn't think you were wearing your seatbelt, so that's why I stopped you. That I stopped you because I thought that there was a possibility of the fact that you may have been doing something else. And you're right, if police officers want to stop you, they can come up with a reason. But we love police officers, we love community building, we love community engagement, but members, let's not be sidelined by the fact that 87% of Minnesotans are in compliance with the law. And for that reason, respectfully, I'm asking you not to support this primary seatbelt. Now, I want to say one last thing, because I know that some of the members have been, asking me if I was going to do an amendment. I'm not going to do an amendment because I wanted us to argue this point on the floor, although I think data collection would make this bill better. Why? Because it would assure folks that data is being collected, and if they're stopped for the wrong reasons, that would be captured in a real way, and we could come up with strategies that would help curb that unnecessary challenge.